Welcome back to another episode of Minecraft from the Hermitcraft server. Why is my donkey out? Donkey? Okay, let's get him back. Hope everybody is having a fantastic day and had a fantastic week. And we'll continue to have a fantastic day watching this video because I have some things planned. That's not my donkey. This is my donkey. What? There's no more sand in you, but I think I took all the sand. I'm pretty sure that's my donkey with the chest. Oh well, now I have two. Anyway, guys, man, the exile storyline. I was so excited to get involved with the exile storyline, but then a bunch of stuff. Why are all these sheep not where they're supposed to be? Technically, I don't really have a sheep area, so maybe they just want to join the horses. I was so excited to get into the exile storyline. Everything else looks normal here, but I didn't, and I have a very good reasons, multiple reasons for it. These are not going to be excuses. In fact, I think it might be time for a little bit of story time with Beef. What the heck is it? I think I deserve that. I probably deserve that. Okay, are you guys all ready for story time? First of all, I'm going to start with the fact that I am bummed. I am so bummed. Also, I'm going to be doing this while caving because what better way to tell a story than collecting resources at the same time. I actually need a little bit of tuff for my build. I'm running a little bit low on tuff, and I mean maybe a little bit of copper, but copper's not a huge deal because Joe gave me a bunch of copper. He traded me, speaking of copper, he traded me a bunch of copper not long ago, so I probably don't need too much of that, but definitely a little bit of tuff. Maybe even just, what is that? That looks like a dock thing. Anyway, maybe even like just a shulker box full, I guess. A shulker box full of tuff would be great. Anyway, yeah, I'm bummed. I was so excited. Okay, so first of all, I was really looking forward to being heavily involved in the exile storyline. Like, I was all in. But then, life, that thing called life, how it throws curveballs at you when you least expect it, especially. It was insane. Just as I was starting to plan. So I had a plan going to kill Skiz. Okay? I had a few hermits involved. We were going to ambush him at my place. Okay? Then I was going to be by myself at my place, but one of the hermits, probably XB, was going to be kind of invisible at my place, and he was going to be waiting upstairs. And so when Skiz came over, I was going to pretend to make peace. I was going to be unarmed. Then XB was going to come out of nowhere and murder Skiz. That was part one of the plan. Then Skiz was going to respawn somewhere. That's where the other hermits came in. I was going to have one hermit over at Skiz's base, and then another hermit over at the Poe office. And hopefully he would have spawned near one of those locations. But if he didn't, at least that would have narrowed down where we think his respawn bed is. By the way, I'm going to grab this tuff real quick. I don't want to tell the entire story while I'm grabbing this tuff. So let me do that, and then I'll continue the story when I get back. There we go. That'll be a nice amount of tuff, I think, for now. Where was I? Yes, Skiz's untimely, unfortunate murder. That would have happened if I actually participated in the storyline. So, yeah, we were going to kill him and then wait for him to spawn and kill him again, and eventually he would be exiled. But none of that happened, okay? So, here's the thing. We had an ice storm in real life, not in the game. There are no ice storms in the game, although I think that'd be kind of cool. We had an ice storm in real life, and not only did that ice storm do a ton of damage to trees and branches on our property. We actually live on 17 acres. We have a lot of trees and branches. Our house is surrounded by trees and branches. Luckily, there was no damage on the house itself, but a lot of cleanup to do. And it's not a good thing when you're selling your home, which we currently are. We're trying to sell our home, and then there's trees and branches everywhere. So I had to clean that up ASAP. But anyway, that's a little bit further down the road in this story. So not only did it do a bunch of damage, but it also knocked out our power. And it turns out that it knocked out our power, it turns out it knocked out power in many places. It was a very damaging storm. Tons of people without power. But because I live in a rural area, our power was not really a huge priority to get back on. By the and if you follow me on Twitter, you saw that I was kind of trolling the hydro company a little bit because I was pretending that I was gonna fix the power line myself, and I photoshopped myself into a bunch of photos. And I didn't actually do it; I had someone do it for me. But people believed that it was real, and they were concerned for my safety. That was not me. That was not me dangling from a power line in those photoshopped photos. But anyway, because we're in a rural area, we weren't a huge priority for repair. And it turns out only about 30 people in our area were affected, whereas people like in cities and small towns, obviously it's a lot more than 30 people. So we were pretty low on the restoration list. We ended up being without power for 6 days. Okay, 6 days. And this was right around the time that all the exile stuff was happening. So obviously, boom, 6 days. Was not involved at all with what was happening, unfortunately. But then when the power came back on, even though we were so relieved and happy, it wasn't over yet because, excuse me, get out of here, please, thank you. Because we realized that the furnace was now not working, so it was not heating the house. We still didn't have heat after those 6 days. That was bad. The daytime temperatures were kind of, they weren't bad, the daytime temperatures, but the nighttime, we got below freezing a bunch of times, -6, -8 throughout those. So the house was slowly cooling down. I kept watching the thermostat as it got lower and lower and lower. It was not good. I was very nervous, especially because we have a little baby. He's going to be 6 months old, actually, very shortly. But yeah, it wasn't good. The first night, my wife and the baby stayed at a hotel, and then I was home trying to figure out a bunch of stuff, which I'll get into later. But the power came back on. The day after they stayed the night at a hotel, the power came back on, and I was so excited, and she was excited, and she's like, okay, great, I'll check out and I'll come home. Fantastic. It stayed on for about 20 minutes, just long enough for her to check out of the hotel and come home, and then it went out, and it never came back on for another 5 days. That was unfortunate. So, it was a tough time. It was a tough time. But that's not even the entirety of the story, because during the outage, we have, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with what a sump pump is. A sump pump basically prevents your house from flooding if you're like in a wet-ish area. We have pretty wet soil here, so especially when the thaw starts happening after the winter, there's kind of water everywhere. So we are in a pretty wet area, so we have to have a sump pump. The sump pump runs on electricity. Surprise, surprise. We didn't have electricity for days and days. In fact, if it wasn't for my wife reminding me of it, we would have had a flooded basement, because she was like, hey, doesn't the sump pump operate on power? And of course I was like, yeah, absolutely it does. That's not good. We have no power. I went to look at the sump. The water levels were already rising. We have a drain in our basement, and the water levels were already coming up the drain. So I grabbed a bucket immediately and started bailing water. I couldn't bail water fast enough. Luckily, we have an awesome neighbor that lives across the street, and he had a spare little tiny generator, which actually wasn't enough to power our sump pump. I think the wattage on the sump pump was exceeded the capacity of the generator. But what happened was we also had a pool pump handy. We don't have a pool, but we have a pool pump in the basement. I don't know why. We had a pool pump handy, and it was enough to power the pool pump. So the pool pump was what was draining the sump of water. And because the pool pump isn't automatic like a sump pump is, a sump pump will detect the water levels and then pump out the water when it exceeds a certain level. The pool pump just keeps pumping out water, and it can't operate when dry. So what I had to do that night is get up every couple hours, go outside, and disconnect the pool pump every couple hours, and then wait another half an hour to an hour for the sump pump to fill up again, or the sump to fill up again, and then connect it back in. Not a pleasant night, that's for sure. But luckily our basement didn't flood because of because of our neighbor. It was quite a Scary experience, because that could have caused a lot of damage, especially if we hadn't remembered that the sump pump needed to be powered by electricity. Oh boy, could that have been bad. Later that day, by the way, I called and I rented a larger generator, which we were able to use for a couple of space heaters, one for the baby's room and one for the dogs. And then I also got a mini fridge to keep the little meatballs' milk refrigerated and frozen, because little meatballs got to have some milk. So, yeah, we had to do that. Luckily, I'm going to be saying luckily a lot, because it could have been a lot worse, but boy, was it a terrible experience. So, yeah, I rented a massive generator to get those things sort of up and running. I was just running extension cables throughout the house. It was gross and not very pretty. Another thing, too. So because we're on fiber internet now, that's right, fiber internet. I'm out in the middle of the country and I have fiber internet. It has changed my life. It's great. But because we're on fiber, apparently no power to the neighborhood meant no fiber internet. Even when I connected the modem to the generator, we were still without internet until the power came back on. So 6 days. Normally that wouldn't be an issue, as I could just use my self data to watch videos and play games and stuff for entertainment purposes. But I have very spotty cell service up here, so I couldn't even do that very well. In fact, when I was trying to Google things to sort of help me figure out problems and issues and just make sure that I was doing the right thing, I won't go into details, but man, it was a lot of technical stuff that was happening with the generator and stuff. I had voltage a voltage switch and stuff. Anyway, I was trying to get information on that. I could barely get any information on that because I couldn't load any web pages. So that's fantastic. So after the power came back on, as I believe I mentioned earlier, it was pretty close to the end of the Exile storyline, and then we had to get somebody out here to fix the furnace. So even though we were without power for 6 days, we were actually without heat for 7 days because the furnace did not work when it came back on. We had to replace a part on it. So that was nice. And it was nearing the end of the Exile storyline already, and I was kind of anxious to get into it, get involved. So I tried to hop back in, but outside we had, I think I posted a picture in my Patreon page, a couple pictures actually, maybe even a couple videos of the damage that we had on the property. I needed to make sure things looked nice outside for us to actually sell this place. We've been trying to sell this place for a little while. We couldn't afford can't afford delays, but we didn't want to have more and more delays. So we had to hire 2 people. And they were here for 4 days, chopping branches, trees into smaller pieces so that they could burn it all. And like I said, 4 days of just doing that constantly. Chopping branches, chopping trees, burning. Chopping branches, chopping trees, burning. 4 days, day in, day out. And when they left, they weren't even finished yet. In fact, I am still dealing with the stuff they couldn't get to this day. And that was, I think, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3-ish weeks ago now. It's been insane. I actually currently have a massive pile of wood that I need to burn right outside my window here. I can almost see it from this window. It's a huge pile of wood because I think about a week ago, we had another little windstorm thing, and the trees and branches that kind of didn't fall. This could be a dangerous situation. There we go. Wow, one-shotted. Nice. The trees and branches that didn't fall the day we had the ice storm, they were already kind of weakened, and so we had a little bit more damage due to the high winds that we had these days. So that's fantastic. I'm still burning wood. I smell like smoke almost every day. It's not a fun time. I actually like fires. I don't like burning. I'm not a pyromaniac, but I like fires. And I can't stand the way I smell constantly. This is really, really gross. So, yikes. It's been crazy. I think it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since the power's come back on. And because I've been dealing with all this stuff, the residual effect, is that the right word for the residual effects? The, you know what I mean. everything that has been related to this ice storm. I still haven't got back into my normal workflow routine. And it's not like I even had a normal workflow routine beforehand because of the baby. And the baby takes up a lot of time and energy. And I don't have a routine. I have not had a routine in months, but I did feel like I was starting to get back in the gist of things. And then the ice storm happened. So that's great. Yeah, there always seems to be something that comes up and kind of stalls my momentum lately, and it is a little bit frustrating, but it's life, right? Like I can't really control that kind of stuff. I just have to do the best that I can. Anyway, things are finally settling down now. And I can focus a bit more on Hermitcraft, starting with this video right here, which is kind of a slow introduction back into Hermitcraft, a little caving action and a little updates on the server, as you'll see a little later. And then I've also got the TCG SMP series that I had going on JoJo Solo server. Very fun server, by the way. Ooh. Is it going to neatly fall into the gap there? It is. Very nice. Yeah, super fun server, and I was having a great time, and I'm going to continue having a great time, but I can finally get that going again. And there was another series that I was about to start before the ice storm happened that I haven't started yet, and I'm pumped to start that too. That one's going to be sort of more like a hopefully a once a week thing, but more information on that later on. Oh boy, yeah, it's been something. So that's why I didn't participate in the Exile storyline. Unfortunately, I was so excited to do stuff, especially PvP stuff. I don't get to do a lot of PvP stuff to the hermits, you know? It's not like when I was on the Minecraft server, we would have like UHCs every once in a while. I felt like the UHCs really scratched that PvP itch, but it doesn't really happen that much on this server. So it's more about community and building things. I'm just kidding. I meant that to sound sarcastic, but I love it here. Oh boy, I hope you guys didn't take that seriously. But anyway, yeah, the PvP itch was gonna be scratched with the Exile stuff, but it wasn't. So I'm still bloodthirsty and looking for vengeance. Anyway, I should probably get out of here. I'll probably continue exploring for a little bit because I love caving. But I hope you guys enjoyed story time with Beef. I hope none of you. I know some of you were affected. I was talking back and forth to a few people on Twitter who also got affected by the ice storm, and I know a couple people were without power even longer than I was. So I guess I should count myself fortunate in that respect. But it was still a terrible experience. So much so that my wife has now she's completely convinced that we need a backup generator at all times so this never happens again. And I am in total agreement. Can I make this jump? Not if I don't push the jump button. Nailed it. Oh no, Roy! What happened to Roy? Oh, come on. Oh, guys. You didn't... None of you have eyes? Oh. This is really creepy. Maybe I didn't. We just updated the server. Maybe I messed something up. Are you guys serious? Yeah. Yeah, that is not the best. Oh my gosh. Ooh, hermits, please stand under a tree and enjoy the new falling leaves. Oh. That's really nice. Yeah, that's really good. I like that a lot. Awesome. What in the most exciting thing? Wait a second. This is the dog that I used. He's got no eyes. This is the dog I used for Permit Master, Hermit Master, not Permit Master. Permit Master. Yes, Permit Master, not Hermit Master. That's what I meant to say. Most exciting thing. How are you? I'm gonna go give you eyes. Okay, I promise. I'm gonna give you some eyes. Come back here. Meet your new friends, Lemon and Lime. Are they named? I never ended up naming them. Huh, that's interesting. All right. The most exciting thing, meet Lemon and Lime. Lemon and Lime, the most exciting thing. There, the eyes are back. I am excited to get back to this project actually because it's been a while and I miss it. I think this is one of my favorite projects that I've done in a while because I'm just loving the aesthetic. You know, it's simple but beautiful. I wanted to show you guys something that I did. It wasn't a whole lot, but I wanted to keep you updated. Is it in here? No, this is going to be the ballroom. I haven't done anything in the ballroom yet. Where is that room? I need signs in this build. I really do. I think I went the wrong way. I've got to go straight instead of down these stairs. So I've got to go that way, I think. So we're going to go through here. Through here. I mean, this is a nice little tour. No, this is just where I was. This is where I just was. Is it through here? Possibly. No, this is not it either. Hold. Oh, wait a minute. 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 I think I remember now. That's not what I meant to do. It was this way and then this way. Yes. Okay. There we go. My goodness. This is going to be a confusing place to navigate when it's all finished. In here, I didn't do too much except for strategically light this place so that the only block in here that has 0 light is right in there. I'm hoping a mob spawns in there, but it's not too big of a deal. Not too, I think I showed you guys this room, right? I think I showed you guys this room. And then all I did here was clear out this room for what will be in here is you can see I expanded it 1 block this way, 2 blocks this way, and then 2 blocks back. This is going to be the wine cellar. I think this is going to look really nice. I'm going to try to make it, I mean, I always try to make things look fantastic, but I'm going to try to make this look fantastic. Hopefully in the next episode. That is it for today's episode. It was just a story time with Beef, and I hope you enjoyed it. There's no mobs in here because there's light in here. Right, okay. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I am past it now. Ooh, that was quite an adventure. Never want to deal with that again. I feel like I haven't even told you the half of it. I felt like every single day out of those 6 days that we were without power, something else popped up that I had to deal with. And it was just super, super stressful. It was terrible. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, though. And I will see you in the next one, where hopefully we will build the wine cellar, maybe even get started on the ballroom. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll visit the farm and check on our animals. What is this meep zoo? This doesn't make any sense to me, and it's driving me insane. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.